Blackrock just changed crypto forever, and they're making a lot of enemies right now. They're pissing off a lot of people. I can show you that. We also have some really interesting charts if you're interested in Bitcoin, if you're invested in Bitcoin, or if you're invested in any altcoins as well. This is going to affect you. If you don't mind, hit subscribe. Turn on the bell notification underneath the video so you can see future videos just like this one. There's also a link down there to Margex where you can trade cryptocurrency on leverage. It can be used in a bullish market to amplify returns. Even when we're ranging, you can trade these lines pretty easily. With the link underneath the video, you can also get a deposit bonus of up to 20% that can be used towards fees. There's also a link down there to HGAaccess. We've been calling a lot of cryptocurrencies that have gone absolutely nuts, so you can check out that underneath the video. Of course, we do more than just talk about cryptocurrencies that we think are bullish. We also get on live streams as well. You can ask us some questions, so definitely check that out. There's also a link down there to HGAlgo. We just added some tutorial videos to really explain what you can do with the indicator. As you can see here, the indicator is showing that even though it seems like, oh, well, these last 2 days haven't been that bullish, we still have bullish momentum on the 1 hour chart. We still are in this green area. So if you have longs open, it's still bullish if you zoom out a little bit, which obviously is good for people that are trading. Now, of course, if you're higher leverage, maybe you want to look at a shorter time frame, in which case then we're going in and out of bullish momentum and bearish momentum, as you can see here. But when you zoom out, we're still just doing fine. I mean, look, we made massive moves. And some of the stuff that I'll be talking about, I talked a little bit about in the last video, but we're still making massive moves to the upside. We're still looking very green. And we went from 40,000, actually 38,500, all the way up to 52,800. So we still made a massive move. And the reason for that are these inflows. These are the spot ETFs. BlackRock has accumulated about 116,000 Bitcoin within a 1 month span, 25 trading days. They've been able to accumulate 6 billion. They're going to pass MicroStrategy probably in the next few weeks. At this pace, it could be 2 weeks from now, 3 weeks from now, and they still have strong inflows, like 4,000 to 6,000 a day, 10,000 this day. They're just massive amounts of inflows. And at first, people were wondering, okay, well, if the ETFs are buying, why are the prices going down? And a lot of people said, well, they're using OTC desks, which if you don't know what these are, basically like Coinbase might have some Bitcoin that they hold and they broker deals between parties and it doesn't go on the open market, so you don't see big price swings. Now, a lot of people think, okay, well, this is a negative because if someone's going to buy Bitcoin, right, it would be much better if they could just buy off of like a traditional market. If they didn't do over the counter, but they just spiked up the price of Bitcoin. But when you look, there's just not much Bitcoin left. Like there never was that much Bitcoin. You can see 6,000 Bitcoin is not that much. These ETFs swallow up 6,000 in a day. So there are some players that are getting their Bitcoin from here, but most are just buying from the open market. Like most go and they get inflows, they go buy from exchange, and then they just accumulate Bitcoin. That's why we have seen the price go up a lot. So when the price went down originally, when the ETFs were approved, that was probably just because there were a lot of people dumping GBTC, and we saw that. A lot of people did dump GBTC, and a lot of people also were probably waiting for these ETFs to be approved. They thought that we were going to see a big pullback, which we saw a 20% pullback, but then we raced back up because the inflows are just massive. You can see here, there's so much being swallowed up, and there's not really any OTC buying anymore. We also know that bankers are trying to get in on this too. Like I said this in the video this morning, I showed this tweet, but if you didn't see that, like BlackRock and Fidelity, all these companies are swallowing up so much Bitcoin, but banks still have rules. I didn't even realize this, that tweak accounting guidance. They're trying to tweak the accounting guidance from the SEC because it's more expensive for US banks to hold digital assets for their customers. So they want in on this, and they see like barely any OTC Bitcoin left. They see these companies swallowing up Bitcoin, and it's it's a lot of the time it's short-term holders selling, or it's smaller holders selling, and then these ETFs are just buying it up. There's not much left on exchanges either. And people are getting pissed off. Like bankers are getting pissed off. So BlackRock really is changing the game. They've changed crypto forever because these big institutions are swallowing up as much Bitcoin as possible. And yeah, their assets are under management are like relatively big, but they're still small compared to how much money is out there. And this will actually move up. The fees will move up too. How much they make overall when Bitcoin's price goes up. So they could have no more inflows. And if the price goes up to 100,000, they make double as much as they do today. There's just not much Bitcoin left overall. 19.63 million Bitcoin in circulation, 1.37 million Bitcoin left. So what is that? 5%? 7% of Bitcoin is remaining, is the remaining supply. 21 million Bitcoin supply cap. 93.5% of total supply is in circulation. There's 64 days until the next halving. Then the daily issuance is halved. ETFs are scooping up 11x daily the issuance right now. And he says, and you sold because CPI came in higher? Like, that is the important thing. That's what's so important to remember. Take a look at this. BTC outflows per day are going up. Now, I think this is happening because just 2 days ago, Genesis got approval to sell $1.6 billion worth of GBTC. So they're most likely dumping these GBTC shares because we went down to 52 million. And then we started to spike up, especially the last 2 days, started to spike up. And maybe even we're going to see more today from what I can tell. Looks like maybe GBTC is even selling more today. This selling pressure is kind of like if you were in a desert and there's no water. You're just in sand dunes, right? And you're starting to get really thirsty. You're boiling. And then someone comes over and starts dumping like a cooler of really cold water on you. And you just like let it fall over you and you're complaining, right? You're so cold now because it's cold water. Instead of like getting some kind of container or like drinking it, you're just like, I don't want it. It's too much right now. That's pissing me off. That's kind of like what the markets are doing right now. Like some people are saying, well, I don't want to buy because Genesis could dump, right? They could dump, but you don't realize that there's basically no Bitcoin out there, just like there's no water in the desert. And if there is a little bit of a discount, if there is a bit of a downturn, if there is a little bit of GBT selling, you should try to get it. You should try to take advantage of it because as soon as they're done, we go back up. We start spiking in price again. So this may be the opportunity you have to get some more Bitcoin before we spike up more, before there's more institutional FOMO, before the Fed starts lowering rates. Like this is the time. This is as good as it gets possibly. Now, take a look at this. 2015, Bitcoin bottomed at $211. 2017, all-time high at 19,000. 1,064 days later. In 2018, the bottom was 3.4K. 364 days later, after the all-time high, so almost exactly a year, then again, 1,064 days later, we hit an all-time high in Bitcoin. Then 364 days later, we bottom around 16K. This is kind of nuts. Even, let's say these were even off by a couple weeks. The cycles are absolutely nuts. How close they are to each other, like how similar they are is just absolutely insane, right? So I'm paying attention to this. This is something that I look at when I'm thinking about when I'm going to sell. I'm much more inclined to sell around certain times than at certain prices because we don't know what kind of price action we're going to get from this kind of demand. We've never seen institutions buy like this so quickly. We have no idea what's going to happen to price. So I am specifically looking at time periods. So based on this, the 1,064 day cycle, you would need to circle the 22nd of October 2025 on your calendar. Maybe that's the time to be selling. Of course, you don't want to miss that and then have like a 20% drawdown or something if we head into a bear market. And there's no guarantee that we're going to go down around the same time. So I'm going to be selling probably on the earlier side, honestly. I'll maybe start selling this year, like starting to take profits. I know it sounds crazy. I know it sounds super crazy to sell in 2024. But a lot of people think that we might start getting up too close to $100,000 Bitcoin. And I do have a large allocation in crypto. If we get close to $100,000 Bitcoin, that is going to be life-changing money for me. So I will most likely start taking profits. And maybe it's on altcoins, maybe it's on Bitcoin. I know that I always want some allocation to Bitcoin, no matter what the price is. If it's 500,000, if it's a million, I always want some allocation. But in my mind, this cycle is the cycle. If you have like a decent amount of money in crypto, this is the cycle to make you set up for life. But to do that, you need to make sure you take some profits. So I'm going to be taking profits, I'm sure, in the next year or so. Maybe a little bit over a year. We'll have to see how it all shakes out. But I'll be watching this very closely. Now, if you haven't already done your taxes, check out the link to BCM underneath the video. We go through every single wallet you send us, and we look at every single transaction. We do it manually and check out all the fees, tally it all up for you to have something easy to give to your accountant. So definitely check that out. There's also a link again to HGAlgo. It's a great tool. Like, it all depends on how you want to set it up, but you can get alerts to your email to tell you when the market's turning bullish, which is really helpful. This is a really good tool. And there's some other links like the one to Margex underneath the video as well. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I will see you in the next video. Bye.